The Delhi High Court will resume hearing on the plea filed by Max Hospital over the ongoing oxygen crisis in the national capital today. The court just yesterday directed the centre to ensure oxygen supply to Delhi and said that it is the centre's responsibility to assist the state's needs. Wrapping the union government there, the court said that the government has to see the reality and protect citizens' lives, while it asked Kejriwal government to ensure that the oxygen allocated by the centre is supplied to hospitals in time. To deal with the emergency, the centre has allocated 480 metric tons of oxygen to the national capital from various suppliers as the court asked the government to ensure its smooth transportation, assuring the court Solicitor General Tushar Mehta that the allocated oxygen would be supplied to Delhi, while he sought time for the further argument as well. This comes after all branches of Max Hospital across Delhi were about to run out of oxygen completely. Several other hospitals were also left with only few hours of oxygen supply. Looking at the dire need, this plea also was heard urgently. Now, India currently is literally gasping for breath. There's a scramble not just for beds in hospital, but also for oxygen supply. Most vendors are now charging 2 to 3 times more for refilling an oxygen tank. Operation Oxygen Bazaar is profiting in this pandemic here. Here's what India Today's special investigation team found.
Gasping for life. Mayday calls resonate across the country.
इस बार कोरोना संकट में देश के अनेक हिस्से में ऑक्सीजन की डिमांड बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ी है। इस विषय पर तेजी से और पूरी संवेदनशीलता के साथ काम किया जा रहा है। केंद्र सरकार, राज्य सरकारें, प्राइवेट सेक्टर सभी की पूरी कोशिश है कि हर जरूरतमंद को ऑक्सीजन मिले।
As supplies of oxygen reached a breaking point in the face of the second devastating wave of coronavirus, an India Today investigation found how vendors have begun black marketing a lifeline now in lethally short supply. A resource that can be pulled from the air, sold 5 times the usual price. This oxygen dealer solicited rupees 1,500 for a refill of a large cylinder that would otherwise cost just rupees 300 and rupees 500 for a small one otherwise priced at rupees 100.
कितने पैसे लगेंगे? 2000। कितने किलो का है ये सिलेंडर? ये 47 लीटर। 40 इसमें 47 किलो गैस आ जाएगी? लीटर में आता है। अच्छा, लीटर में कितने आएगी लीटर? 47 लीटर आ जाएगी। ये 2000 रुपये में आप? ये 1500 में भर दोगे। अच्छा, तो कितने देर में दे दोगे? तो गाड़ी का पता इंतजार कर रहा हूँ, 15-20 मिनट आधा घंटा दूंगा। परसों ही लेके गए थे भाई साहब, 1200 रुपये आपने खुद दिया है। सबको कह रहे छोटे वाले के भर लोगे 500।
According to the Union Health Ministry, clinical demand for the gas has jumped to 60% of the overall daily production because of the ongoing crisis. Supplies for now have been banned to many industries to meet hospital requirements. Price caps are already in place, but data points to a different problem. A huge gap between the current stocks of oxygen, both medical and industrial, and supplies appear to be causing crippling shortages. And that, in turn, has led to black marketing of the gas. This vendor in Delhi's Shahadra demanded more than double the price of one 7-liter cylinder.
ये वाले हैं बेटा, ये
कितने का होगा? ये 6,000 रुपए का। ये वाला 6,000 रुपए का है। हाँ कौन? ये सस्ता नहीं ऑक्सीजन जनरेटर जो ये मिल रहा है ना बेटा। हाँ
With patients choking for breath, black marketing of oxygen appears to be thriving. This vendor sought 6 times the price for refilling one small canister.
सिलेंडर लाए हो, दिखाओ सिलेंडर। 2 घंटे वेट करो, 2 घंटे बाद गाड़ी आएगी ले जाओ।
कितने का होगा?
300 रुपये ओनली गैस।
इसके 600 रुपये लगेंगे।
जब आप छोड़ोगे मेरी गाड़ी जाएगी, फिर होके आएगी, तब मिलेगा।
Hit by a brutal wave, shortages of supplies, and profiteering at the same time. A report by Nitin Jain and Jamshed Khan for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
Now, amid the increasing COVID cases, Maharashtra is also facing an acute shortage of oxygen. India Today went to an oxygen supply plant just to understand the severity of the crisis here. The in charge of an oxygen refilling plant in Raigad said that he's falling short of 25% of the supply, with the demand doubling over the last few weeks. Hospital authorities in Pune are not able to access the required numbers of oxygen cylinders as well. State Health Minister Rajesh Tope said 500 metric tons of oxygen has been requested from the central government due to the increasing demand in the state. Meanwhile, a massive tragedy in Nashik occurred. 24 people are dead after oxygen leak at a hospital. These patients on ventilators were deprived of lifesaver as the oxygen supply was cut off for a brief period following a leakage in the oxygen tanker. Here's the horror story.
In Nashik's Zakir Hussain Municipal Hospital on Wednesday, an oxygen tank leaked while the hospital supply was being refilled. People helplessly watched as dense fumes of oxygen covered the premises, and those who were dependent on it for survival died a slow death.
इस अस्पताल में जो टाँकी बिठाई गई थी, उस टाँकी का कॉक डैमेज होने की वजह से सवेरे प्रेशर नीचे आ गया। इस वजह से इन्वेजिव वेंटिलेटर पे जितने भी लोग थे उनको ऑक्सीजन टाइम पे मिला नहीं। 22 लोगों की मौत हो चुकी है।
People who had left their loved ones trusting the hospital now blame the staff for negligence.
यांच्याकडे ऑक्सिजन नाही, काल रात्रीपासून यांच्याकडे। काल माझ्या पेशंटची ऑक्सिजन लेवल चेक 84 होती। माझा पेशंट काल मी त्याला सूप वगैरे पाजून गेलो। पेशंट पूर्णपणे खात पीत होतं, चालत होतं पेशंट। आता नंतर सकाळी येऊन पेशंट आहे क्रिटिकल, वरती आलो तर बघतो काय उठून आहे शून्य।
परिस्थिती त्याची तब्येतीत सुधारणा होती, स्टेबल होता। माझा भाऊ बरा झालेला परत गेला, नाही राहिला हो माझा भाऊ। काय करू रे प्रकाश, प्रकाश।
While the kin mourned the death, politics has started over the incident.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के शासन में अभी महानगर पालिका, नासिक महानगर पालिका है, तो इसको भी जिम्मेदारी ये लोग ठहराने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं सरकार को। बहुत ही अफसोस की बात है, इसकी जिम्मेदारी लेना भारतीय जनता पार्टी की जिम्मेदारी।
While the Congress held the BJP responsible, the BJP has put the blame on the ruling government in the state, calling it a case of criminal negligence.
ठाकरे सरकार की बेजवाबदारी के कारण ये मृत्यु ने हत्या है।
Maharashtra Health Minister has promised an inquiry into the incident and has announced an ex gratia compensation to the kin of deceased.
आता निग्लिजन्स म्हणावं का वर्कमॅनशिप, त्यातलं जो काम केलं, ज्यावेळी काम केलेलं असावं ते काम केलेलं वर्कमॅनशिपचा काही दोष आहे का? पण तांत्रिक हा बाब आहे आणि तांत्रिक बाबीमुळे खऱ्या अर्थाने ही घटना दुर्दैवाने घडलेली आहे।
Meanwhile, all major political stakeholders in Maharashtra have taken to social media to express their individual concerns. According to reports, the oxygen supply was disrupted for about half an hour, and panic-struck families tried to help patients as they gasped for breath. With Praveen Thakre in Nashik, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Maharashtra government issued fresh orders on Wednesday evening to curb the spike in cases. The government has announced that those passengers will have to quarantine 14 days after inter-district travel there. In fact, the public transport system has now been limited only for essential services and emergency needs only. Public and private buses can only operate at 50% capacity. Government offices have been restricted to 15% capacity. Only 25 people can attend wedding ceremonies, which have to be restricted to 2 hours' time. These guidelines will be enforced from 8 p.m. on Thursday all the way to 1st of May. Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope hinted at stricter measures on Tuesday. He had said that the spike in cases was adding excess pressure on the health infrastructure. Due to the spike in cases, Maharashtra reported 67,468 new cases and 568 cases on Wednesday itself. It's time for our special COVID segment, The Good, Bad, Ugly. Let's take a listen.
Here's the good news on COVID-19. Now this time it's Bharat Biotech's Covaxin that's showing an interim clinical efficacy of 78% against COVID-19 in the phase 3 data. More data will be released by June, but what the company has said now is that it is also showing 100% efficacy to fight severe COVID-19 disease. What's more is that ICMR today also said that the vaccine is working against the Brazil variant as well as the UK mutant variant. Also, another good news is that it's working against the new double mutant variant that has been found in the country. So for now, Covaxin, the government says, works to protect you against the new double mutant variant as well. Well, the bad news on COVID-19 is that Delhi was almost completely out of breath as oxygen supplies were cut short to many hospitals across the national capital. SOS calls were made by the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia as many hospitals reported that they only had oxygen supplies left for a couple of hours. The central government has taken very serious note of the situation and has asked all oxygen plants and PSAs to divert the industrial oxygen usage into purification and for usage in medical grade oxygen. But still, some hospitals are reporting problems in supplies of oxygen as demand of patients of COVID-19 who need oxygen has increased in the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, this is the ugly side to the COVID-19 pandemic. Even as the states are increasing oxygen supply, the horrific tragedy is being reported from Maharashtra's Nashik, where in a hospital, 22 patients have died due to interrupted supply of oxygen as an oxygen tanker leakage took place at the facility. The government has announced an ex gratia amount of rupees 5 lakh to the victims and their families, but this tragedy comes at a very bad time, even as all the Maharashtra government was trying to do was supply oxygen, and because of the horrific leakage that took place, the death toll has come up to 22 patients who were to be treated there but ended up dying because of this horrific tragedy.
It's round 6 of the Big Bengal poll battle, even as COVID cases surge to rise. Voting in 43 constituencies there has started to seal the fate of 306 candidates. Prominent names in the 6th phase include BJP's National Vice President Mukul Roy, TMC ministers Jyoti Priyo Malik, Chandrima Bhattacharya, CPIM leader Tanmay Bhattacharya, TMC candidate and film director Raj Chakravarti, and actor-turned-politician Kaushani Mukherjee. Out of the 43 seats here, the Matua community will be key in about 17 constituencies. Both the TMC and the BJP have pitched hard to gain the confidence of Matuas Apart from these constituencies, elections will be held in 9 seats in the Uttar Dinajpur district and 8 in Purba Bardhaman. The state recorded 10,784 new COVID cases in last 24 hours, the highest since last year.
बिहार में 2 दिन पहले जिन लोगों की मृत्यु हुई वो भी किसी मां के ही बेटे थे, लेकिन ममता दीदी की नीतियों ने कितनी ही माओं से उनके बेटे छीन लिए हैं। दीदी के मां माटी मानुष की यही असलियत है।
আগে বাংলার মানুষ বাংলাকে বাঁচাবে, বাংলাই পারবে, বাংলাকে বাঁচানোর আগে বাংলা মাকে, বাংলাকে গুজরাট হতে দেবেন না। তারপর দেখবেন এই বাংলাই সারা ভারতবর্ষকে একত্রিত করে আমরা সারা ভারতবর্ষ থেকে মোদিবাজিদের আমরা দূর হাঁটাবো, বাংলা থেকে এই ভারতবর্ষ থেকে আমরা দূর হাঁটাবো বাংলার ইলেকশনের পরে।
जान चाहे हिंदू की जाए मुसलमान की, मुख्यमंत्री का जी जलना चाहिए या नहीं जलना चाहिए? तो 4 लोगों के लिए तो आप आंसू बहा रही हो दीदी, हमारे आनंद बर्मन के लिए क्यों आंसू नहीं आते? मौत में भी राजनीति करते हैं आप, और यही तुष्टिकरण बंगाल को ले लू।
আপনাকে দেখতে বহুত খাসা, গোল গাল, টিকটক করছে গাল, দারুণ সুন্দর দেখতে। আপনাকে আমি প্রশংসা করি আপনার চেহারার, কিন্তু বলুন তো অমিত বাবু, আপনি খেলাটা ভুল খেললেন। নিজের লোকগুলোকে ঠকালেন, নিজের লোকগুলোকে প্রতারণা করলেন, সিপিএম কে মদত দিলেন, আর তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস ভাঙতে গিয়ে নিজের দলটাকে ভেঙে দিলেন।
आपके पैर में चोट आई, आप इतनी आहत हो गई हो, बहुत दुखी हो गई हो, व्हील चेयर में घूमती हैं, मगर मैं उनको पूछना चाहता हूं, मेरे 130 कार्यकर्ता जिनकी जान आपकी राजनीतिक हिंसा ने ली है, उनकी माताओं का दर्द आप जानती है? बंगाल की जनता इस बार 130 राजनीतिक हत्याओं का आपको बैलेट के मशीन के अंदर आपको उसका जवाब मिलने वाला है।
Chennai Super Kings have won their 3rd match on the trot with close 18-run victory over Kolkata Knight Riders. They were sent to bat first. Chennai had a flying start with Rituraj Gaikwad finding his form back with 42 balls for 62. Faf du Plessis made all the difference there, and his unbeaten 95 took Chennai to 220 for 3. In reply, KKR lost their first 5 wickets for just 31 runs. First, Andre Russell's 22 ball for 54 and Pat Cummins' blistering half-century got Kolkata back in the game. The equation had come down to 45 off last 24 balls, with Cummins still batting on 65. A run out in the last over ended Kolkata's hopes as they in fact lost the match by 18 runs.
What a game we've had, and what about...
Now, Sunrisers Hyderabad have finally got a victory under their belt with a clinical performance against Punjab Kings at Chepauk. Electing to bat first, Punjab never found the momentum and lost wickets one after the other. Khalil Ahmed, Abhishek Sharma shared 5 wickets as Punjab were bundled out for a paltry 120. In reply, Johnny Bairstow and David Warner were on the job right away, sharing a 73-run stand for the first wicket. Bairstow remained unbeaten on 63 as Hyderabad romped home with 9 wickets in hand.
Here in the bubble, we've got something to smile about, finally.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.